do that. Go away. Okay, it wouldn't let me do my connection before because it kept wanting to turn me vertical, which I'll do if I have to. If I start screaming about orcas, there are apparently some orcas down there right now. So let's get set up. Oh, good. So if I start it and then connect it to my mount, it works. Well, I'm sorry, everyone, for that initial hiccup. I wonder if I can go and make a note to anyone else. Ugh, what did I do? Go away. Oh well, that's life. Nothing's ever going to go right the first time. Okay, well, I had some people over on my scheduled one, and I hope that they're able to make their way over here because, well, I really want to paint this with people. I want some help in shaping this. So I guess I'll just give it a few minutes, let people join. Oh, that's why. All right, do we have anyone? Still no one? All right. Oh, how do I go about? No, I don't want to go there. Ever. Pin. Okay. Well, all right, I think I've got that part fixed. Let's go ahead and get started with painting. So I've got my colorful wash using just Palaiba Diamond Blue with two different kinds of salt pattern, but it's all from the same salt. I just got a different pattern based on the thickness of the paint. Now, when I was down in La Jolla, California, a little north of San Diego, I saw this Leafy Seadragon and got a photo. And I posted options on Instagram to let people vote on whether or not they wanted to watch like an animal, a landscape, etc. Animal won, and then out of some sea options, we got the Leafy Seadragon. Sorry about that. It is a, I suffer from constant allergies. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we got to decide what way we want this oriented because I don't have any sketches on here. We can do whatever we want. going to try turning it this way. Do I like that more? Like the idea of that, or I like this more. All right, let's see, where should we start? So I want to be careful not to get too close to the edge, because if we mat this to frame it, the mat will cover about 1/4 of an inch. And so a few things. Where's our focal point going to be? Maybe afternoon streams after my sinuses have drained are better. Let's see. So I kind of think I want to put the eye here. That would bring the snout all the way down here. So if my head's here, body, body, body. Yeah, because this is actually a fairly small piece of paper. So I want to be careful, since I haven't sketched this out. I don't want to make the head too big and then lose the body. So let's see, what color should we make this guy? Wish I could let you guys see him so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Maybe like this. Okay, let's see. What color should we use? Sorry about that drainage. So I love the color Rockwell Canada Magic Wizard, and I find that it works really well with Palaiba Diamond Blue. So I've got just a little liner brush, and I'm gonna start with where his little nose is gonna be. It's gonna be right there. And the top of the head's gonna be about right here. So that would make the eye about there. So sorry about that. I'm gonna wet a size 8 brush, and I'm just gonna start bleeding some of this color away because I want to soften it. I'm not fully committed to placement yet. I can still make adjustments. I just want to put things kind of where I think they're going to go. So this has a really, really long snout. And I don't think my snout's long enough, but I do want to be careful not to get too close to that edge. So I think I'm going to lengthen it just a little. There should do it. I went in pretty dark there, so I am saying that I am committed to that. And then they've got that little cheek like a seahorse, because I'm pretty sure they're in the same family. They're just different. Eventually, I'm going to put the eye in, but this is light enough that I'm not worried about it right now. Let's see. It's got these little bits right there. So I'm going to take my liner brush, and I'm going to go in for some green. This is called On It Diamond Yellow, but it's green. And let's go ahead and just flick some of it. Because it's up against this white area, I don't want it to call too much attention, but it's important that it's there. After all, it is a part of the landscape, although I really do think that it's just part of this rock, but I really like it. And this is our painting, so we can make it however we want. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to bring this in. We've got kind of like this W-shaped body. And I love these lines right here. Now, if I weren't painting this live and drying time didn't matter, I'd probably use cling film to get some of these fun patterns. But that's not going to be very fun to watch because it's going to take forever to dry. So let's just go and put the body in very lightly. I'm going to grab more of that Magic Wizard color. And I'm just going to make some marks where I might want the body to be. So I'll measure things like, oh, here's the head. This part's about half a head. So here to here, about there. Then it comes up before we go into, we've got a belly. Look at that. they've got such a funny shape. Like, look at this. And then there's another little bump before going out. Drop in some deeper color. And I like for my subjects to bleed away. So after that bump, I'm just going to drag this color out and let it fade away into the dark. Now, because the lines are going this way, I'm going to drag my paint that way. My brush strokes are important to the piece. And since I'm not using cling film, these little gaps can be where those ridges are. I need to pay attention to how far they come up. Now, I love that there's a lot of like pink in this dragon. So I'm gonna go grab, it's called Morai Witch. And let's drop that in some places. Let's drop that here. Oh, I need more pigment. And let's just start dropping that in. I'm gonna let that fuse. A little more excitement. Just let that bleed away. I'm gonna pop a little on the head here. A little more excitement. Now, one thing we can do while this is still wet, to get a little more dimension, one, I want to deepen a couple things. I want to deepen right here. So I'm going to add purple. And a little bit there, some purple. A little bit there. I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to dry the excess water. And I'm going to start lifting. And what this will do is give me some soft transitions that will hopefully give me some of those little lines that we see in the Leafy Seadragon. See? It's nice and light. And then if we want things to be stronger later, we can go in either with a darker color or even go in with some gouache, which is probably what I'm going to do. Okay. Now, what is a Leafy Seadragon without little leafy dews? So I'm going to go grab more Magic Wizard. It's nice to have kind of a color that is used repeated in the piece. So even though these are going to be green, I want to start with this gold color. Rinse my brush, go in and grab the green. And then since this is still wet, the color should bleed into it. And it has a lot of these little spiny dews, so I'm going to add some more of those. Looks like it has some coming from its belly area. So I've got some little spines coming off the stomach, rinsing the brush. Going in light for these ones. I'm going to lift a little pigment out of that. It's looking a little flat. I don't want flat leaves. And then just drop in some stronger color and let it bleed. Rinse, drag it out. And now I don't want a super hard edge around everything, so I'm just going to grab it and kind of bleed it into my background. Now let's not forget, it's got a bunch of these up here too. So back to, and I'm just doing as much of this as I can with just my size 8 brush. So ooh, there's a little, okay, so one kind of comes out from the back of the head. And one kind of comes out of here. Branches. There we go. Rinse again. Go in for that green. And there's a lot of it. So got some big leafy bits on their back. And to keep this varied, I'm lifting and pressing down my brush. Now, I do want this to be something we do together, and I don't see a way to access comments, because I would love to know what you want to have added to this. So I guess that means I need to do a bit of a better job next time. Actually, just use my finger and drag that down. Because I've actually got, I think, a little too much of a chonky boy going here. So I'm going to bleed this away, grab my paper towel, and just press down. And it's okay. It's watercolor. Just bleed it all in. And then once it dries, I can use hard lines to give a better suggestion of how I want that shape to actually be. There's a lot of saying of that watercolor is the most unforgiving medium, and in one way it kind of is. But it's not completely unforgivable. It's just, you have to be willing to go with the flow. Pun very much intended. All right, it's got some little spiny doos on the back. I want to do pink though. Let's grab pink. Since I've got pink on it already, let's try just doing some little pink. I am definitely going to need to use some hard lines later to correct this shape, because look at the squiggle boy. Look at my guy who has been overeating whatever these things eat. As a very happy leafy Seadragon. So back. Now here, I kind of want things, as you can see, it's gotten very light. I want it to bleed away, so I'm just going to go in with a very light value. So I want to say I know what one of these looks like. I've seen it a few times. But this isn't the important part. This is. And that's important when painting loosely, is knowing what to draw attention to. Because loose doesn't mean that it's easy necessarily. It is, I think, but it's because it's how I like to paint. That's here. It's probably too dark for that area. Trusty tissue. Boom, boom. Rinse my brush. And let's just drag it out again. And why don't we add a little bit of blue? A little pop of color. Okay, so I really hope that Zoom will get rid of the horrible sound of a hairdryer. I don't know that YouTube will. So to anyone watching right now, I'm very, very sorry. I'm going to pull out a blow dryer. I don't usually use a blow dryer, but because this is a live stream and I don't want you waiting for over an hour, dryer time. Okay, you really shouldn't touch it to see if it's dry, but it's probably dry enough. All right, so we basically have the majority of our leafy Seadragon done, but it's missing an eye. So I'm gonna grab a nice dark, well, let's grab the blue. But I wanna get a nice deep dark value. So I've picked up as neat of a pigment as I can get. Let's see, the eye kind of comes right where the snout and then the top of the head. So snout, top of head. I'm just gonna put that in. And then the rest of that looks purple. So I'm just gonna grab some purple and get the top of the eye and the bottom. Looks a little alien-like. I kind of like that. And then I'll use my size 8 and soften the lines. I'll see if I can go in deeper with that blue. I do want it to be a little darker. There we go. There. It has an eye now. The head is losing a bit of its shape. Got a little bit of purple and just want to give it a little more shape on the head. A little more on the neck there, create like a shadow. Okay, now let's go ahead and see if I can fix the part that is bothering me. And that is how much I've managed to botch the shape of our dude. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I don't know how to, I didn't think to look that up. That's kind of an interesting thought. But regardless, I want to fix the shape. And there's a couple ways I can do it. Well, there's one way I'm going to do it, but what color am I going to pick? Because I could go within a blue and then make it look like it bleeds into the background, or I can use the color of the seahorse. I think I'll do that. I think I'll use the color that I used on the seahorse. So this golden brown magic wizard color. And let's pay attention to my shape. So there. And then once I hit this stem, it comes down. Look, on here, I was keeping it flat. It needs to come down quite a bit. And then it only starts coming up after that hump. So if there's that hump, it'll only start to come back up here. So I'm gonna use some broken lines though. And then try and correct the shape. And it comes back down, back up. Okay, so I already like the shape a lot more. But now, do we bleed it out or bleed it in? I think I'm gonna bleed it inwards, so I just wanna soften it a bit. So then we can make it part of these like little ridges and spines. And it's okay to have hard lines. It's art. All right, that's looking pretty good. And now I want to reconnect this piece from More the Magic Wizard. And then I'm going to grab green. Let's give it just another little leaf. Because these leaves are more in the foreground, I'm going to darken some of them. Now there's some dimension. Some of them are closer, some of them are a little further away. Okay. Well, it's looking pretty good for a live stream study, but I feel like we could do something more. I got these fun, like glittery paints from my sister. So let's see. We can add some bling. I have no idea what color this is. I'm gonna grab it. It's a good idea. Test it first. Okay. Because it does have those thin, lovely ridges, and I do want to add that. So let's just start here. All right, and that should give some shimmer and glimmer. And I think I want to add a little bit of that to maybe the leaves as well, but not to the whole leaf. Let's got this green. Just load up my brush and sort of add it as like a stem on some of them. It won't show up totally well in the stream because of my lighting, but it will look nice in person. I'll put some up top of its head too. And I'll be a little extra, maybe this blue one. Call a little more attention to that eye. All right, I do like how this bleeds away, but I think it might be just a little too light. So I'm going to actually pull some of my blue in with my green because I do want it to fade, but I do want it to be a little bit of a stronger value. There. I think that looks better. Okay, anything else? Maybe a little bit of a stronger, nope, that's not the right color. I'm gonna grab some pink and just give it a little swoop there. And at this point, I'm just looking for anywhere that needs value and giving it a little swoop. Making sure it's not getting too boring. So I do like some color. All right, I think that's pretty good. Adding some bubbles might be fun. but this area is so light, I'm not sure my bubbles would show up. Is there anything else I could do? I guess I could make golden bubbles, but I don't know. I really like how it does kind of look like it's under the sea. Got a little bit of shimmer going on. I think this is done. I think I'm going to call it. So thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if there's anything that you want to see in live streams going forward or in any of my other instructional videos, and have a fantastic week. Bye.